So Caitlin Clark has obviously been all the rage of the WNBA right now, and what's happening is she's getting attacked. I think it's fair to say attacked on the court, and I just feel like we're at this point where the WNBA is either going to continue growing and you're going to see more Caitlin Clarks coming up in university settings and going into the WNBA, or you're going to see it all crash and burn very quickly. And I'm of the mindset that this is all going to come crashing and burning because these women are not ready for the spotlight. They're really not. So there's a video I want to queue up that talks about or just shows how Angel Reese, which is Caitlin Clark's nemesis, just out and smacked her on the field, or on the court, sorry. And it's quite wild. Let's watch it.
Okay.
Yeah, you can see
Damn, she hit the back. Damn, that was far.
her head.
But like gangsters, look, they're probably like
pointing
celebrating
to his head here, and I think they're going to look at this.
Yeah, of course they're gonna look at it.
Yeah, she gets
hold on, did she even hit the ball?
It's not close.
Or they want to see it.
The foul, I believe, to Angel Reese. Yep.
Oh no, that
head.
Not even close to the ball.
No, the other girl. No, the other girl was going for the ball.
Yeah.
Well, so the nemesis is the one that's slapped her.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and they've been rivals since college. Those two.
Oh, so rival college. So here's my one question. Is that good for this video?
Yeah.
So Chrissy, how long has Reese been in the league till what?
They're the same age, so they came up together. Angel Reese was at LSU, right?
Yes.
Caitlin
correct.
Clark was at the University of Iowa. They were they would go against each other. They were kind of the two best girls in college basketball. They both then get signed, and I think there was a lot of animosity between the two because Caitlin Clark was getting all of this attention. And I didn't cue this video up, but there's this crazy video, I don't know if y'all have seen it, of The View, the ladies of The View talking about how Caitlin Clark has pretty privilege.
Caitlin Clark?
Y'all pull up a picture.
I believe, just the fact that you said The View, it just gets my stomach. It bothers me. I think that's one of the worst shows in the history of shows. But I'm saying, did they get in the league at the same time?
Yes. They just got in. They're both rookies are in their rookie year right now.
Okay.
Caitlin Clark was the number 1 pick. Angel Reese was the number 6 pick.
Caitlin Clark went 1.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, then what the hell is she complaining about? You're not even number
Clark.
1. You're not even number 1.
Or 2.
because only
or
one
3. or 4.
or
5.
You're number 6.
Yes.
Wait, what were you saying, Rob?
Well, because one of them is, clearly there's some type of jealousy or animosity, at least because Caitlin Clark just signed a $28 million deal with Nike, right? I don't see a lot of WNBA players signing multi-million-dollar deals with Nike. In fact, I don't know if I've ever heard of one. I'm sure that they happen, but they never made news until now with Caitlin Clark being in the league.
Well, I think that's where everything stems from, is the jealousy issue. And I don't know, I'm sorry if that's like a male-female thing, but it just so happens that Caitlin Clark's game translates so well to TV, so well to drawing in fans. It's very similar to what we saw Steph Curry do 10 or 12 years ago, where he's completely revolutionizing the game. These girls can't dunk. These girls aren't physical specimens. My big thing with, when I compare men's and women's hoops is, if I've seen people do it at this level, it's hard to get super excited to see people do it at maybe a little lower level physically, right?
Yeah, that's like watching, when you go watch an NFL game, you don't want to the following day go watch Pee Wee football.
Exactly. And Caitlin Clark's game translates so beautifully to drawing fans in, because she shoots the same threes from the same lines, falling away with hands in her face, and she's phenomenal at it.
Is the rim 10 feet for
It is.
WNBA as well?
It is, yeah.
So Chris, let me ask you a question, because I know you have more stuff to show. But so does race have anything to do with the fact that she is? I'm just putting out there, because we'll get into Stephen A. Smith and all the race baiting rhetoric that they're trying to do, because I know it's for click. They want that. By the way, Stephen A. Smith talks about sports as if he's like Noam Chomsky. It's like, bro, they're fucking putting a ball in a circle. He wears pink suits. By the way, the camera follows him in
amazing.
Like he's playing.
He goes like this.
Yeah, it's listen, and
I respect that, though. Listen, I get it, but there's a part of this that has to be dramatic. It is there, even this is a form of show business.
I understand, but I understand, but you're an announcer for a let's break it down. And no disrespect to sports, I used to adore sports and I love sports. Let's really strip this down to its bare, naked truth. It's a fucking game. At the end of the day, in the scheme of life, sports are fucking meaningless. And all due respect, it's to distract the people. Back in the Roman days, when the people started asking questions and started getting crazy, like they want to do a civil war, guess what the emperor would do?
Give them games.
Fucking games for 3 months.
Feed them bread and give them circus.
That's the exact Rob. And I mean, literally throwing them to the lions. So at the end of it, when it comes to Stephen A. Smith, I'm like, bro, I get the suits, I get that, but you are just talking about the sport. The fact that he's bringing up, and that's because I still want to know what you think. The race part of it, she's only doing this because she's white, and he made a reference to Donald Trump, this "Make America Great Again." What are you talking about? When people were slaves and no. We talked about this before we started. America was great back in the day when you could smoke on airplanes, beat the shit out of your kids in public, and nobody said anything. What's up?
But here's the deal with Stephen A. Smith, right? What you see in the mornings is Disney, ESPN Stephen A. Smith.
Weird.
That is a controlled, that is a Stephen A. Smith that is told exactly what you can and can't say. Yeah. Toe the line, let the chicks clear, Stephen A. Smith. He has a podcast at night completely different from ESPN and Disney, where you get a vibe and a feel for what he really knows. He's very educated.
Of course he is.
He completely understands what's going on.
Yeah.
He appears with Sean Hannity on Fox quite a bit. They're very good friends. And I think that makes it worse to me. Like, I'm almost okay if you're like blissfully ignorant to the terrible things that are going on.
Not. He
but
knows.
when you know what's going on, but the check's got to clear, so you change yourself completely at 10 in the morning and 7 at night, that's where I find a problem.
Great
with stuff
point.
like that.
We were talking about that too. It's just so frustrating how people will do literally anything for money nowadays. But speaking to your race point about everything, there was a video that I want to queue up of Angel Reese saying that she thinks that Caitlin Clark has some sort of special privilege. We should watch that.
Oh, okay. All right, go ahead, Kel.
For inside, I mean, I think we were playing really hard. I think we went up really strong a lot of times, and we didn't get a lot of calls. And going back and looking at the film, I've seen a lot of calls that weren't made. I guess some people got a special whistle, but just being able to
special whistle.
Special whistle.
Yeah, because, and I think that's alluding to, because you're white, because you're, galvanizing the game in a way that Angel Reese has been seemingly unable to. And, I don't actually think it has anything to do with race or sexuality. I think most of it, yes, comes down to the way that Caitlin Clark galvanizes she's really good with media appearances. She's also not fucking ratchet. Angel Reese is fucking ratchet.
Yeah.
And there are plenty of nice, beautiful black girls. Angel Reese, I actually think is pretty. I think she's prettier than
she starts talking
Caitlin
that
Clark.
shit. Yeah.
Yes, but the way she carries herself is fucking ghetto.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Don't apologize.
It's just gross. It's not the way you want your young girls, regardless of their skin color, to look at women. Mm-hmm. And I just think Caitlin Clark holds herself in a manner where even when she gets smacked in the face, even when she gets a flagrant foul thrown at her, she still knows how to carry herself in a respectful way.
No, fantastic point. It's like, and again, you don't want to be, even if you don't want to be a role model, you are. People are watching you. Kids are watching you. This girl is bringing eyeballs to your sport that you weren't bringing. Mm-hmm. So to have that attitude, to have that shittiness, and I get it. Basketball, this it's a physical game, but to be targeting them, and that's why that rhetoric, that anti, to hell with them and Stephen A. Smith, Rob, it's making them go, you know what, to hell with this bitch.
It goes to victimhood mentality, right? Right now it's easier to play the victim. Oh, I don't get the same opportunities as this person because I don't have the same skin color. I don't have the same background growing up. Then. But what it comes down to is I really believe, I don't know if this is racism as much as it is jealousy. I think you can see we talked about males versus females earlier. I think jealousy is a common trait between both men and female. It's how people utilize that jealousy, right? It'd be easy to sit and look at people like you, for instance, right? You came in and you have skyrocketed. I'm very proud of you. I've watched you transform into a professional broadcaster. You came in and please don't take this wrong way.
Not.
You were a knucklehead comedian.
Yeah.
And I love you for that, but I watched you transform into this media personality where now you're on Piers Morgan, you're getting interviewed by Laura Trump. You could look at that and be jealous, or I can look at that and go, look, Vinny put the work in. Vinny does the research. Vinny puts the time in. He worked it and it worked for him. If anybody can do it, Vinny can do it. I can do
Great
it.
freaking
And instead of looking at that and looking at the benefits of what Caitlin Clark is bringing to the WNBA, much like how people don't we could look at the benefits you're bringing to us, right? More people watch this podcast, which helps each one of us in the long run with clicks and stuff because you're on it. So a rising tide raises all boats. That's what's going on with the WNBA. But the other players, instead of realizing that and leaning into it, they're fighting it and they're acting like they're victims rather than trying to be the victors. And I think at this point, you need to stop that victimhood mentality, stop being jealous, and use that jealousy as fuel to get better so you can be like Caitlin Clark. You can get a $28 million contract instead of sitting in a press conference in a fucking gymnasium in front of 15 people where you're like, yeah, she gets a special whistle I don't have.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest problem with the whole thing. Like, have you ever seen a business like cannibalize itself like this? They've been waiting for somebody to bring eyes for 25 years, right? She has gotten more accomplished before she ever laced up for her first game than 25 years worth of women before her. She's got them on chartered flights. Their games are nationally televised at a rate they've never been before. They're selling out arenas to the point where when teams found out Caitlin Clark was coming to town as an away player, no, not even that. They were leaving their home buildings to go play in bigger ones. So when she went to Washington to play the Mystics, they normally play in a smaller building to accommodate the women. They moved over to the Wizards building, and they sold it out.
And did you guys see there's a report that the WNBA is still set to lose $50 million this year, despite all the success she's brought to the league?
Which is crazy, because how have they continued to stay active for as long as
at
they have?
A loss? The NBA pays for it.
What you mentioned, Chris, earlier is that it and I hate to sound sexist, but it is a downgrade for the viewer to watch men play this sport at the professional level that they play it, and then watch women who, unfortunately, they don't possess the same dominant skills as men. It's a lesser game. The only thing that they could do is lean into that and make the game more interesting. Like, I hate, I'm not making a goof of it, but do you remember Jock Jams? Remember when they used to do Rock and Jock, when they would have the Rock and Jock basketball and they'd have different levels of hoops? Why not bring some type of incentive for the viewer to want to watch? Because to be honest, men's basketball bores me. I can't imagine sitting through a women's basketball.
Well, and I think that's her appeal, is that she does do something as well as the men. Because I'm telling you, we watched it last year with Sabrina Ionescu shooting with Steph Curry in a three-point contest. If you put Caitlin Clark with Steph Curry, she's going to be reasonably close with the number that she makes. And she does that on the same hoop from the same lines, and that's why people are so enamored with it. Like, I can't believe the shots this girl is making.
Yeah, what do you think, Chrissy?
I just think that back to what Rob was saying about how, rising tides rise all boats and everything. That's the difference between the NBA and the WNBA, is not necessarily their skill level, but also that there's an inherent biological difference in the way that women and men deal with jealousy. Women are inherently more jealous, and that mentality, which all human beings should have, it's the mentality that's going to help you rise in a capitalistic society. That's not happening in the WNBA, and that's why you have the commissioner, the WNBA commissioner, is saying that Caitlin Clark is not being targeted by opposing players. This is not problematic at all, because what you can see in my reading of this, or my interpretation of this, was this jealousy problem has been ongoing and endemic in the WNBA since its inception, because there's an inherent biological difference. This division will never be successful until you tell women they need to put to the side this jealousy, and there needs to be coaches that need to come in and be strong in telling people that.
So ultimately, do you think that a Caitlin Clark is going to actually fix this problem, or do you think that they're just doomed?
No, it's actually making it worse. Which is so funny, because yes, Caitlin Clark is doing a great job in bringing eyeballs, but as you noted, Shane, the league is still hemorrhaging, and the attitude of the other players is honestly hemorrhaging it more. This can't be all on one person.
Who's the leader of who's the front running, besides Caitlin, obviously, but who's like the veteran voice? Is there anyone to be like, hey, listen, bitches, can you guys all stop?
Vin, that's the incredible part, is that before she even got there, the veterans were already like bracing everybody for this. I think about Diana Taurasi, who's been in this for 15, 16 years. Yeah. She's supposed to be like the leader of the old
she's
school.
A hater too.
And she's the first one to say, we're going to welcome her. She thinks she's going to come in here.
Yeah, we're going to play. Good luck in college. Yeah.
Like, blah, blah.
This is a different story.
It's the job of those people to pass the torch and leave the league in a better place. Welcome this new group in, and they
but that's
don't
an
do
inherently female thing.
That's kind of what I was getting at earlier, but I didn't want to come off.
No, it's okay. I'll be a sexist asshole.
But thank you.
Chrissy, fuck them. Go.
What's very interesting is that NBA needs is to replace the president. Donna Orander has been the president of the WNBA since 2005. Imagine being the CEO of a company that has lost revenue year after year after
10 million
year
every year
for 19 years straight, and you still keep your job. That's crazy to me.
$270 million they've lost since the beginning.
And she's still employed.
I know.
Do you know what I think they're going to have to do? And you probably know it from us growing up watching sports. Do you remember the Jordan rules?
Yeah,
and then
of course.
they changed the rules when Tom Brady started getting his legs falling on.
Yeah, of course.
You might have to, as a league, at some point, start to say, like, we got to tighten this up a little bit, because when you let the players, you give them the freedom. We see it in the NBA too. When you give them the freedom to attack the golden goose and her, what do you think happens to these ratings if Caitlin Clark goes down in the next 15 national televised games? Nobody's watching.
Dude, let me explain something to you. If she quit and she went to that other league, what was the league?
That was a Big Three.
They wanted her to go to Big Three, which is Ice Cube's league.
Yeah.
You would they'd be losing $60 billion because nobody gives a shit. And you're right. It's like, oh my God, somebody needs to wake these people up and be like, yo, nobody was talking about us until she came in. I didn't even know the WNBA was happening. No, I'm being dead serious. I'm like, is it the season? It's unbelievable.
And yet she still seems to lack all resentment. Like, did you see that clip where someone asked her how she feels about racism?
Yes.
And she, I mean, I haven't even heard of anyone being racist like on her side. But she goes, you know what? It's disappointing. And she was completely like open and honest, and she was just like, I'm very sorry, basically.
What
if that
I took
is
away
happening.
from that clip was she said, don't use my name to push racist agendas.
Yeah.
Which was, so she could, it's the total, that's really an interesting point. It's the total opposite of what people are doing to her, where people are acting like the victim and then lashing out at her. She's getting lashed out at, and instead of acting like the victim, she's going, no, don't treat me like a victim. Don't say that I'm the victim of racism. I'm just disappointed that that's the narrative people are having.
Yeah, I have one.
Very good
class.
I got one last clip I want to show you guys before I wrap up my point. It's going to be our last video I want to watch. It's really interesting.
Oh, this is okay.
This is So the reason why I want to bring this up is I feel like it really wraps in my point. And like, the WNBA is not ready for this, because this is a woman. I think she plays for the LA or the Las Vegas Aces.
Yeah.
She's crying over a regular season loss. You got to watch this.
Okay, go. I'm gonna laugh.
I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna try to be the best. I get y'all saying best player in the world. That's great. It looks great. But I want to be the best person. I want to be the best teammate.
Oh my God.
Because that's how I get the best out of my team. So when it comes to wins, losses, when I tell you I break this game down piece by piece, because I don't want to be great for you guys.
That is the difference between men and women. Michael Jordan was a gambler. Like a notorious gambler.
His father was murdered.
Yeah, not exactly the greatest of men. He wasn't looking to be the best person. He was looking to be the best player, and he did it.
By the way, they don't. It's because we're gonna go into politics. That bothers me. The emotional, the jealousy. That's she's not able to control her emotions. I just picture the president of the United States being a woman sitting there going, I told Putin not to. I told him not to go to Crimea, and he fucking went anyway. It's like, what are we doing?
It's not fair.
Would you rather have that or the guy freezing when the camera's
Oh,
around him? I don't know.
yeah.
Either way.
Honestly, I'd rather have the statue man.